Welcome to another episode of First Class or Trash. I'm Eric Smith, the president and COO of Incremental Media. We are an offline marketing agency, just crossed 20 years in business here in the New York area.
Hi, and I'm Mike Gunderson. I'm the president of Gunder and CEO of Post Reminder, and we are here in the Bay Area, California.
Awesome. And this is actually a piece that I received that we're going to be looking through and giving some feedback on. I live in the Upper West Side here in New York City. And this was a direct mail postcard that I received from James. Looks like that was looking to sort of propose potentially looking to list our apartment. Personally, I was actually really impressed by the piece. I don't know if James designed it or if someone from his company did, but it has a lot of our best practices in it. So kudos to him on that. I think a really strong headline, 5-star service, 1% listing fee. Very intriguing there. I think the stats on the bottom give a lot of credibility. James's photo is good. We always recommend people looking at the camera in most cases. Kudos to him on that. There's some good elements of the piece on the back. There's some things I liked about it, but it was a little bit confusing with the charts. I wasn't exactly sure what they were trying to communicate with that. And then the really main issue that I had, or sort of piece of feedback, is that the phone number under James is different than the phone number on the other side of the piece. So it was just a little confusing. Like, was I supposed to call James or text James, or, I feel like they should be consistent. It should be the same phone number on both sides so that I know, how to contact James in the right way. But what did you think, Mike?
Well, I have to agree. Like, when I first saw the piece, I was like, okay, well, the front of the piece is beautiful. The 5 stars gets my attention. The 1% listing fee really gets my attention. I've purchased some real estate in the past, and obviously that's a good deal. And then, James looks very confident. He looks like somebody you want to work with. He looks very trustworthy. And then I think using some of those stats at the bottom kind of help build his credibility. The name of the company was off. I couldn't really understand. I still don't really know if I'm saying it right. Is it Yo Re Emo? I'm
I
not
have no
sure.
clue, honestly.
So that's a little confusing, but anyway, I guess that's not really a big deal. But I had to then say, first class all the way at the back side of the postcard. But then when I turn it over, I kind of get lost here. So the first thing is those graphs. Those are useful graphs. I think they're helpful to say, hey, now is the time to go ahead and list your house with James. This is a really important thing. But the headline doesn't really say anything like that. So it would have been nice to capture a headline that actually talk to those different graphs. And then you hit it on the nail here. The arrows, like they look so weak. You have some pretty drastic bar charts here, and then the arrows are just kind of like almost kind of straight. So I would have just liked to have seen a little bit different design treatment on those to really make it look like those were some pretty drastic changes. And then the only reason that I'm probably throwing this in the trash is this is rare, but the call to action on this is so bizarre to me. So you have James and you have all his information on one side, and then you flip it over and it's a completely different set of phone numbers, a completely different email address, and obviously it's going to some other, it looks like some other URL as well. And luckily there is a QR code there, but that really kind of threw me at that point. So I would have probably put this in the first class category, but I had to throw it in the trash from the really basic call to action mistakes being made here.
Yeah, I'm gonna slightly disagree with you. I do think that it's has, particularly the CTA is the big issue. But it says Upper West Side quarterly market update. Like, I live on the Upper West Side. It's definitely very well personalized. And again, I think some big brands don't even do this kind of level of personalization. So I did appreciate that. I agree with you on the charts that, like, okay, so prices up, contracts signed are down. Is that good? Like, is that, I'm assuming that's a positive, but, it would be helpful to kind of get some more education on that. So I'm going to kind of squeeze it into the first class category, not a wholehearted endorsement, but I think it had a lot of really good elements, and I think the things that he needs to fix are really simple fixes. So, I'll throw it in the first class category.
That's our episode of First Class with Trash. If you want to learn more about us, just go ahead and scan the QR codes, and we'll talk to you later.